A very happy new year to all our viewers. Welcome to your favorite program, Health Affair, where we'll discuss critical health challenges with a view to finding lasting solutions. I am your host, Oshuomowa Daniels. What does the word mental health means to you? Whenever the issue of mental health is mentioned, the first picture that usually comes to mind is one haggard-looking person walking naked on the streets. After listening to our discussion on the program today, I promise you begin to see things differently. Our topic on mental health has been carefully chosen at a time like this when people plan ahead for the new year and make resolutions to help them achieve set goals. The success of such plans depends largely on a person's mental health and state of mind. Let's begin with our news segment.
Christian faithful in Lagos and its neighboring state, Ogun State, trooped to various worship centers Sunday the 3rd January 2021 to appreciate God for seeing them through the previous year.
Lord, we thank you because you have told us that it's going to be our year of wearing a garment of praise.
We have encountered a lot of problems in 2020 and we have prayed over it that problem we encounter is over. Then once it's over, then we believe it's over. 2021 will be a year for every one of us.
I think God used the COVID period to speak to every one of us. It tells us that, look, this country is our own. We don't have any other one. I want to appeal to all our leaders, both at the federal, the state, and the local government, to build our facilities, the primary health facility, the secondary and the tertiary. We should equip them so that they can provide all the necessary health care we need.
And I also believe that for Nigeria as a nation, God is going to visit us. He's going to have mercy upon us. But one thing I believe in is that the Bible encourages us to pray without ceasing. The only thing that can deliver us out of all this pestilence is prayer. Targeted prayer.
It's not the time to start killing ourselves. This is not the time for whichever killing us. So it's not good enough for our economy, for our growth.
In most churches visited, the compliance to the COVID-19 protective guideline was very low.
The COVID-19 is real, so all precautions should be taken.
From the observation of our crew, the compliance to time was near total, but many were found wanting in the aspect of social distancing and the use of nose mask.
I've never seen any human being that has COVID. I'm not denying the fact though, but let them try to be open and transparent.
That let us pray for this country, because the government themselves, they don't know what they can do any longer to secure the citizen. So we need to call on the hand of God to protect us, because we need divine protection. And particularly about this COVID-19, I want to believe that it is political also. Though they are giving us numbers of the rise in the numbers and figures that the COVID is rising again. But where is those places whereby they said they want to keep those COVID, those that have contacted it?
We are in the second wave now. I just want to believe that God will help us and make it not to become something that we will now later regret. Because the first fund that was available to tackle this COVID-19, it was wasted.
The time we are supposed to be using to be fasting and praying, asking God for healing, I think it is wise enough for us to apply wisdom by obeying the simple instruction.
A healthy population, people often say, builds a prosperous nation. But many Nigerians are threatened on a daily basis and die needlessly due to diseases, poor health care, malnutrition, and lack of access to relevant information. The sorry state of our health infrastructure has also been a major challenge. On Health Affair, Oshuomowa Daniels brings these challenges to the attention of relevant authorities for a lasting solution. For sponsorship and advert placements, please call the numbers showing on your screen. Health Affair, your access to good health through quality information.
The Lagos State government welcomed 4 sets of new babies in the new year 2021.
The first baby of the year from Ainke House is baby Fagade, who was born at 12:21 and weighed 3.3. Pray that this child will be a source of joy and blessing to his parents. This child will move from glory to glory in every department of his life. We visited Mushin. We met baby Amo, born at 12:01, 3 kg. We moved down to Alimosho. We met baby Onumba, born at 2:30 a.m. The biggest baby today, whose weight was 4.3. We now moved down to Orile Agege. We met baby Ajayi, born at 12:01. The smallest baby today, 2.3 kg. That shows that there's hope. Despite all that we've gone through, the second wave is on. But if you follow the simple COVID-19 protocol, we will be able to survive it.
For us in the Ministry of Health, the first baby of the year is a very symbolic event. As a state, the very first activity of the government every year is seen to focus on healthcare. Its significance is demonstrated by the priority it is given, with the visit of the wife of our dear governor and the many important dignitaries who could have chosen to be absolutely anywhere this morning.
The Baby of the Year event is symbolic for the Lagos State Ministry of Health as it demonstrates the government's commitment to the welfare of women and children in Lagos State.
As part of our efforts, we have supported the health sector with the provision of neonatal care units, equipment and resources to some of our state hospitals to ensure the quality of maternal and child care services in our great state. And we are poised to do more.
Welcome back. 1 in 4 Nigerians, according to the World Health Organization, is suffering from some sort of mental illness. A larger percentage of this population have no access to care or help due to lack of skilled staff. Above all, lack of knowledge as people shy away from psychiatric hospitals due to fear of stigmatization. I spoke with a consultant psychiatrist at the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital in Lagos, Dr. Fumi Akinola. Dr. Fumi Akinola is the head of Oshodi Annex and has been in practice for over 20 years. She will be telling us what mental health is about, the signs of possible problems to watch out for, and the survival strategies, especially at a time like this.
Okay, when we talk about mental health, good mental health, we are talking about a state of well-being in which an individual he or she is able to, think, plan, carry it out, be able to hold a job, be productive in the community, and and having a relationship with a higher being for those that believe in God. So you see that it involves thinking, planning, having thoughts, good emotion, attitude, then behaving in an acceptable manner in the society. So when all this is in place, we say the person has a good mental health. And when we now start talking about, is there something wrong with this individual? All the points I've talked about, whether the person is not thinking well, there's abnormal thoughts, abnormal attitude, behavior, strange, then we start thinking, is there something wrong with this individual? So when we talk about mental health, we're not talking about men and women walking naked on the streets. Mental health is definitely more than that. And you have to talk about mental health for children, adolescents, young adults, even to old age. So it is not, all of us, we have emotions and we have feelings, we think, we have our own personality. So anything that can affect all these areas in our lives, once everything is in sync and we are productive, then we say we have a good mental health. Once there's something wrong with any area of this, we start thinking maybe there's something wrong. There's no health without mental health. If your mind is not functioning well, there's nothing you can do. You can't go to work. You can't be productive at work. You can't be productive in your home, because you can imagine somebody that is not thinking well, has abnormal thoughts, behaving abnormally. There's no way that person can cope in the home. in the community. So we need to start with our minds before we now say we need to be productive. We need to get married, have children. I want to vie for this position. I want to be this, I want to be that. If you cannot think, if you can't articulate, if you can't plan and execute what you have planned, then there's no way. So we must let everybody know that there's no health, whatever, if your mental health, if your mind is not sound.
And at what point do we begin to know that this person has mental health challenges and that needs the attention of a medical doctor?
You must remember that mental illnesses or disorders, they're not just caused by one thing most times. It's always multifactorial. Okay, so many causes. So the most significant thing that we talk about is when there's a change in somebody's behavior. Then when you begin to see a change and you see that this individual's functioning is affected. When we talk about functioning, we look at 3 spheres basically: in the home, in the community where that person is, and in the workplace. So if it's a child in the school, is there complaints? Sometimes in the university, it's the friends of the child that will call home. We don't understand how this person is doing. Now he doesn't want to come to school. He's in his room all day, and we find him crying. So those are changes. So anytime you see a change from that person's former behavior to a new way of life, please don't keep quiet. It's always better to seek for assessment. We talk about early identification in medicine, early referral. That will make a diagnosis so that we reduce disability.
So when you talked about some factors responsible for mental health disorders, what are some of these factors?
Well, we do know that some mental illnesses can run in families, so it is hereditary. We know that anything that can cause a high fever, sometimes any infection, trauma to the brain. You have a child that fell from the bed or a table when the child was young. And we must remember that, we keep saying that women, by the time they have missed their period for 2 months, they should go to the ANC, antenatal clinic, and register so that mother will be taken care of adequately during pregnancy. Because we know that sometimes this assault on the brain can happen while the woman is pregnant to the baby. It can happen during delivery, and it can happen after birth. So that's why it is significant. Once you've missed your period for 2 months, go and register so that child. And sometimes when the mother is even ill during pregnancy, because you never know, for whatever reason, the things will not migrate, things will not fall into the proper place in the brain. So I've talked about illnesses, febrile illnesses, trauma, road traffic accident. They were fighting in the compound, they hit the other person on the head with a piece of wood or material, Then somebody that is already, there's a vulnerability because of inheritance, it runs in the family. So by the time maybe the person is grown, you now have overwhelming, emotional disturbances, social issues. That person can also break down. So we tend to look at, an individual holistically because the causes are varied.
So at the moment, what's the assessment of mental health care in Nigeria? What are the challenges and how do we deal with the issue of stigma?
One of the greatest challenges to assessing treatment. We have stigma from others, then stigma from self. I don't want anybody to know. So they won't seek, they won't tell others early enough that this is what I am experiencing. I am not sleeping well. I think there's something. I still saw a patient, was in last week, and one thing she kept on saying, I am not sick. I'm well. Why did they bring me here? Then she said, after a while, she said, you see, it's something wrong with my brain. I need my brain to calm so that my brain can rest. And the complaint was that they would just see her through the windows in her room. She'll be crying and she'll be talking to herself, But when you say, come and see doctor, she's like, I'm not sick. Many people still ascribe mental illness to external forces. It's from the family, it's from the person I fought with yesterday, it's secondary to a cause and all that. Whereas we know that there are most times identifiable causes to these things, and sometimes we might not, but The idea is once you notice a change, a child that is usually very sociable, talks with everybody in the house, now the child keeps to his or her room, does not come out, does not interact with others, and you keep asking him, say there's nothing, and so you've started noticing a change. That's a significant change. The child will lock himself up in the room all day, doing what? And the child was not like that before. So these are, pointers.
The impact of COVID-19 pandemic on mental challenges in Nigeria.
I think it's enormous, and it is getting worse every day. Okay, number one, there's the fear that I don't want to catch it. If you talk about frontline workers, there's fear, I don't want to catch it, I don't want to take it home. Okay, then you work, you're afraid. Do you have enough PPEs, things to protect yourself? So that's on the frontline workers side. Then for others, of course, everybody, they don't want to catch it. They don't want to be infected with the COVID. So they say everybody should go home. They are working at home. People that they're already vulnerable, but they could cope because they were going out, seeing people, talking. Now everybody's in isolation, particularly those that live alone. So that means there's nobody to talk to. So if you don't have money to buy data all the time, do you understand? That's the peculiarity of our own situation now. Many people, they told them to stay at home. Salaries were not paid. So the spending capacity went down. Nobody to talk to. All these ones that you have, and best parties. Even, what do you do at parties when you go there? All the food they give you, you can eat it in your house. But it is the company. They're saying Nigerians love party. It is the company that when you go there, you see somebody doing something funny, you will laugh. You've forgotten what is wrong with you at that point in time. You're happy, you will laugh, you don't want to go home because you know that you are going to an empty house. But now everything was stopped. So those that were already vulnerable, they started falling ill. Those that were ill already, they couldn't get access to their doctors and their caregivers because where they stay is far. I had a patient that stays somewhere around Badagry. So he couldn't come to access his medication. And of course, the seizures came back. He started having seizures again. So these are issues. Then those that are afraid, they don't want to have it, they don't want to get infected. So there's a lot of panic attacks, there's a lot of depression, everything is going on. So the impact is like, it's just coming more and more.
What is your advice to people now they can manage their mental health challenges at a time like this?
Mental health bill, we've been trying to let government pass the bill, so it has passed the second stage. A public hearing has been done, so the last and final stage will be to do the third hearing at the National Assembly. So it's going to make life easier for everybody. Let us follow protocol, number one, so that we do not get infected. Then if you say lockdown, they are saying that's physical isolation. We shouldn't do emotional. So as much as possible, let's get in touch with others. On your Zoom, see somebody's face, on Skype. You understand? So get connected. Do not stay alone. Then they're not saying, at least now, they're not saying we shouldn't leave our houses. So even if you come out on your street and your neighbor, you can talk across the fence. So we must not lose touch with humanity, with each other. And we must learn in this pandemic, we learn to sleep well, eat well, So if you can't go out, you can do exercise in your house. Make yourself happy.
Thank you very much for coming on the show. We appreciate you. Next on the program is our nutrition segment. The focus today is on mushrooms. The name mushroom is often applied to those fungi that have a stem, a cap, and gills on the underside of the cap. These gills produce microscopic spores that help the fungus to spread across the ground or its occupant surface. Mushrooms are not plants. They are fungi, edible fruit bodies of several species of microfungi. They can either appear below the ground, hypogeneous, or above the ground, epigeneous, where they may be picked by hands. It is reported that there are about 50,000 known species of fungi, and about 10,000 are considered as edible ones. 180 species of mushrooms have been tried for cultivation, and 70 of them are widely accepted as food. Cultivation techniques were first perfected for about 20, and about 12 mushrooms only have been recommended for commercial cultivation. However, only 6 mushrooms are widely preferred for large-scale cultivation. They are the paddy straw mushroom, oyster mushroom, milky mushroom, shiitake mushroom, the Jew's ear mushroom, and button mushroom. The standard edible mushroom is the button mushroom, commonly known as Agaricus bisporus, and it is cultivated as white button mushroom. Agaricus bisporus is an edible mushroom native to grasslands Europe and North America. It is, however, cultivated in more than 70 countries, and it is one of the most commonly and widely consumed mushrooms in the world. Just like plants, most of the mushroom species already existed in the old times and probably even before the existence of man. The consumption of mushrooms occurred in prehistoric times. About 4,600 years ago, Egyptians believed that mushrooms were plants of immortality, and as such, it was only pharaohs that could eat them. The Romans thought mushrooms were the food of the gods. Mushroom, which was first cultivated by the Chinese around 300 to 200 BC, has psychoactive properties and has long played a role in various native medicine traditions in cultures all around the world. The Japanese combined it with 8 drugs to boost immune response, combat chronic fatigue, and induce antibody formation to hepatitis B. They also used it to stimulate anti-tumor activity. Different cultures cultivated different species, but the cultivation of mushrooms in Western cultures was first recorded in Paris, France, around 1650. In modern times, most edible species of mushrooms are sold in supermarkets, and they have been commercially grown on mushroom farms. The most popular of all these mushrooms, Agaricus bisporus, is considered the safest for people to eat. The nutrient-dense food has increasingly been classified for nutrition purpose as vegetable, although it can also be considered as a meat substitute due to their soft meat-like texture. They are added to numerous dishes like pastas, pizzas, burgers. It can be grilled, fried, and boiled, and it enhances the taste of any dish it's added to due to its creamy flavor. White mushrooms are extremely low in calories. A 100-gram serving of mushrooms contains just 22 calories. They also contain a negligible amount of fat and cholesterol, but are rich in protein, 6% of daily value. Healthy carbohydrate, 1% of daily value, with dietary fiber, 4% of daily value. They also contain appreciable amount of iron, magnesium, vitamin C, D, and B6, and they are very rich in potassium, which is an important nutrient for maintaining the heart and brain, as well as promote weight loss. Please come with me into our clinic, an aspect of the program where our experts give you vital tips for well-being.
When you prepare food, we advise that you do not add salt to the food, especially when you're at table. And we also say that although it's not measurable, we should eat less than 4 grams of salt per day. A lot of spices contains high salt. Of course, yeah, for you ladies, you're in the kitchen, you know what I mean by that. So you do really should avoid using spices because a lot of them are salted to be able to preserve them for them to last long. Then the type of oil you use is also very important. You should use a vegetable oil that contains less trans fat. You should use a vegetable oil that has been certified, that has been labeled to be heart friendly. It is also advisable to avoid an environment laden with smoke. Smoking of cigarette is bad. Avoid cigarette smoking. Physical activity is very, very important. You must be physically active. Try to exercise, and the cheapest exercise you can do is walking. Jogging is very good. Playing tennis, playing golf, or playing or or playing soccer is also recommendable.
On our perception segment today, we have a young science student in SS3 from Abia State, Hope Okezie. Hope Okezie is working on a cure for coronavirus and other diseases. She believes that Nigerians have all it takes to solve their problems with the necessary support from government.
This is the medicine I made for coronavirus. I just want to prove myself and bring it out for people to see and to allow other people that have dreams to show their dreams, the opportunity for them to show their dream and able to fulfill it. So many people, young people are dying with their dreams because they are afraid. Once they try, they cannot be able to, no support, nobody can support them for them to prove their dream and for them to fulfill it. Nigeria is a country of many intelligent people, and we advise the government, at least for God's sake, that should give the youth the opportunity to read their dreams and give the youth the opportunity to make something good in this country. Nigeria is a very good country.
This is where we draw the curtain on the show today. Thanks for staying tuned. My name is Oshuomowa Daniels.